rid of some of my other windows. Yeah, I've got too many windows going on. Let's close this one down. Put these two together. Let's do that. Should be at. All right, so we're looking at this range and we're wondering, is US 30 going to keep pushing up? As we can see on the bigger picture, have a look at the bigger picture. This market came down here, came down here. If I was to draw in some lines, the lines will look like this. Okay, that's how that line would look. Why? That's the lowest point down here of that retracement. Can you see? And then the market started to kind of go sideways in here. This is over looking at in a much bigger picture, obviously. Market kind of went sideways in here. Just trying to quickly just draw some ranges like this. Kind of went sideways in here. Then the market broke outside of that sideways action. Boom. And it started creating this little blue range in here. It pushed down here. And let's have a look where we are right now. Let's have a look. And the market hasn't quite broken that high yet. Okay, so if we go to our 4-hour time frame and still trying to keep everything in the frame, that market hasn't quite broken outside of this little high here. So I'm going to put in some lines. I'm going to put in a solid line in here like this. These are equal relative equal highs over here. So I'm going to make that. Where's my tools at? There you go. I'm going to make that solid white like so. I'm even going to label it. Yeah, we can even label it. All right, that should make lots of sense to somebody over here. Should make lots of sense. There's some equal height. Let me make it even. Let me put this text on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. Sorry. There's some equal highs over here. Let's go and have a look at these equal highs and see how equal they are. They're not really that equal when I zoom in. To be fair, when I was all the way zoomed down on the daily, they looked equal, but there is still liquidity above. This is all, it's high. So the liquidity between maybe this high here and ever so even that one is broken that high, to be fair, because there was the equal high and we had this little push above here grabbing the liquidity over here. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm just gonna put this over here. It's easy to look at it in the daily when you're quite far out and start making these sweeping comments, but the reality is not. It's actually broken above those highs. It broke above this high here. Here was equal highs between this high and that high. This was a grab of that liquidity twice. Nam, even pushed up again over here and grabbed that liquidity. All right. So if I was to put this like this, I'm going to change this line. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to actually add a little comment in there. Yeah, and I'm going to label this, liquidity grab. All right. Making a little bit more sense above this high now, because the market came up to that level, and when it broke, it went sideways in here for a little while, then it went nam, and I was in this sell after it ate this liquidity, and the market pushed down here to the bottom of the range, retrace up to 50% of the range, yeah, or thereabouts, and then continue this direction down here. And at the moment, we are now all the way down here, closing this imbalance that we can see in here, and then making a retracement back up into here. So the question is, at this stage, is this market now, which is now sitting kind of in the middle of a range, all right, kind of in the middle of the range, is this market going to push up further in here? Now we can see some imbalances. Have a look here. Between here, between here and here, imbalance. And we can see right now the market is making a retracement, potentially closing the imbalance in here and here. Now, the question I want you to ask yourself is, would you have seen that if you was trading by yourself? Would your charts look the same if you was trading by yourself? Would you have identified this imbalance here? This 1 hour imbalance. Would you have identified it? Okay. Would you have identified the imbalance above? Now, I personally think that the market makes sense it tapping into here and then pushing up into this imbalance. That makes sense, just in regards to keeping with the program, all right, sticking with the program. If it wants to go off script and do something else, well, then that's possible. But the program right now looks like that could happen. So if I go to my 15-minute time frame, have a look how this market is bearish. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I took this trade down here, and then I took the trade back up in here. And the only thing is that when it got to, I only closed that trade about 20 minutes ago when it was already down here. And I identified these areas. If I had my way, I would have closed it up here. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I would have done. But I didn't. So that's not what happened. And no problems. So watching this trade right now. So we've got this little bit of imbalance in here. Look, I've dropped to my 15-minute time frame now. And in the 15-minute, we can still see the imbalance is pretty clear. So that was an hour imbalance in here. But in the 15-minute, we might even be able to just squeeze up in here. That is in here now. You know, more imbalance in here on a 15-minute time frame. So that market might be pushing down there to close that imbalance first. Maybe get 50% of it, maybe whole of it, who knows? And may decide it wants to continue pushing up here. Maybe it's just going to tap the bottom of our range. I'm trying to draw this properly. Touching this data point over here. Touching this next data point over here. Maybe the market is just going to come down here to 50% of it and then start pushing up. But I will be looking to an excuse, or not an excuse, but I will be looking to see whether the market breaks structure. Look at the structure. The structure is like this. If you cannot see it properly, what you have to do, zoom. Now look at it. Lower low, lower high, lower low. So now if I wanted to, I could try draw this a little bit better. If I wanted to, I could try and draw a little range in here, like so. You know? So there's a possibility this market's going to tap into what it's doing right now, possibly push down into here, into this range. This is possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my alerts in here. I've got an alert right in the middle of the range. All right. Also going to have an alert up here if the market says, screw you, Jay. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm going to do my own thing. So I've got two alerts here. Can you see sandwich and price? One up here, one below here. But I actually think that it makes more sense that this market does something like this. Yeah. Whether it wants to come all the way down here, or whether it just wants to come in here. Yeah. And then starts to try and get up in here. This makes sense to me if the market does this. If it does something else, it's cool. I'm prepared for it to do something else because I know the market can do anything. But I feel as though, yeah, the market could do this. This is something that the market could definitely do. All right. All right. Obviously, it will be making structure on the way down also. Wouldn't just go like in a straight line, but who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe we'll just go in a quick straight line. Let's have a look at the news. Let's have a look at the news. Yeah. Let's go in here. What am I doing? That's not news. Let's go here. My FX book, economic calendar. Let's see. Huan. Thursday today. We've got some Euro news coming out in 1 minute. We've got GBP news. We've got some USD news. We've got lots of news. Let's go and have a look at the Euro real quick. Let's go look at DAX. Yeah. Euro's coming out. Let's go have a look at DAX. All right, JER 30 or JER 40, depending on which you're looking at, or DE 40, depending on what pair. They're all the same. 30 also, the one I'm looking for, this one here. All the same. Let's see, we've got some red folder news coming out right now. Just thought I'll quickly have a glimpse at it. Oh, let's delete everything real quick. Can I mark up in less than a minute? I doubt it. All right. I don't think I can mark it all up in less than a minute, but we're racing now because in 40 seconds, there's some news coming out. It'll be interesting to see if we have some sort of reaction. This is the JER 30, or known as the DAX. Okay. And I'm quickly drawing some lines on it real quick, trying to see what's going on, because in the next 20 seconds, there's some news coming out. It'll be interesting to just be able to have a look, see what's going on. Next 15 seconds. I'm not going to get it done quick enough. See, obviously, it might not happen instantly. It might have already happened. And we didn't really overlook at what type of news it was. But I'm quickly just trying to draw some lines in here, try and see what's going on. And that's time has happened now. Maybe the market's going to push down before pushing up. We're seeing breaker structure bear bullishly. Maybe not. Maybe it just wants to respect that top end. Let's have a look at what I think about this. Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look. Let me zoom down right now. So the news has just come out, read for the news, to see if it's had any impact. I'm looking at it from a 5-minute perspective. Let's look at it in a 1-minute perspective. I can see some big imbalances down here, but the market that came up here indicated, corrected back down into these levels here, and closed up here. So basically, this is the structure at the moment on this time frame, or looking at it like this. So the market came from here, up here, down here, up here. It's allowed to be down here. I just don't want to see it violating this low. Let's have a look to see what happens. If anything happens, we have seen a push down, right? It is sitting in one big candlestick zone. This is all one big bullish candlestick zone, not the most compelling, but this is all here. This is a bullish candlestick pattern. It's not the most compelling because the green candle wasn't massive out of it, out of that zone, out of that area. But this is all sitting at a level. Are we going to see this market respect this low and turn around and start pushing up? Or does the market want to push down here? We can see some concerns. I know Sister Urbana's looking at it saying, Jay, there's an imbalance right there though, Jay. And I'm like, yeah, there is. The market could decide to spot it. I don't think that news is going to do too much. Let's go have a look, see what happens, what that news even was. It was HCOB services, PMI. Worse than expected ever so slightly here. Better than expected ever so slightly. Better than expected here. We can click into it to see what the effects of that better than expected means, but we also got worse than expected in one of them. I don't want to go into the deep fundamentals of PMI. There's better resources and better people to do that for you. Just watching it from a technical perspective and having a look. So have a look. We're here now. We're at that bottom end of this range in this candlestick zone, but I'm definitely concerned about this imbalance in here. We've pushed past this little wick here. So let's see what happens when we tap into this imbalance. I wouldn't be in a hurry to hit this button, the fact that it's coming down here, because I'm looking at this imbalance and it might just want to just nam and push back up at the bottom of this range. Have a look at this line here. Boom, dashed, make it like that. Let me try and draw it a little bit better, because I'm sure I drew it terribly because I was rushing to just scribble some stuff on here. Yeah, we are in the bottom of this range, which is the bottom of the range a premium or a discount? Is the bottom of a range premium or a discount?
Discount.
It's a discount. So we're thinking to ourselves, maybe at the back of our minds, we're thinking to ourselves, we don't know what we're going to do with this pair. We're thinking to ourselves, right now we're in a discount of this range. Of this little white dashed range, we're in a discount. Let's look at it on a bigger time frame, okay? On a bigger time frame, have a look. On the bigger time frame, now zoomed out, are we in a premium or are we in a discount? On the bigger range, now I've zoomed out, are we in a premium or are we potentially in a discount?
Premium of a bigger range.
We're in the premium of a bigger range. Yeah, we are. Let me try and draw something a little bit better because I don't like the way I've drawn this line. I'm going to go and I'm going to touch this data point and try and touch nicely on this data point. Let me thin this down a bit. Let me make it blue. Yeah, we're kind of broken outside of the range. We're in a premium. We're kind of in this little sideways action here on a much bigger time frame. And this is the complexity of trading. When you're on one time frame, it's very, very clear what's going on. But on another time frame, you're looking at and you're like, I'm not too sure. I don't know, because we're in the top of another range. All right. So when I do this little box in here, have a look. Box. Extend it. Make it, I don't know, a color like so. We're at the top of this orange range. We're at the bottom of this white range. You understand what I'm saying? And on a much bigger time frame, we've just kind of nipped our head outside of this blue range, like so. We've just kind of nipped our head below it, like to say that we might want to push back down towards this white line. If I put this on here, that's the bigger range, and we're kind of in the middle of that bigger range, meaning the market could decide to do whatever it wants to do. All right. Can you see how our Russian does, how we're so fluent with our Russian does, being able to zoom out and look at the overall structure, look at the structure within the structure, look where we are. This market is from up here. The question that we're asking ourselves is, are we at the are we going to respect the discount area of this white range, or are we respecting this premium of this orange range? This is the battle that's going on. So to answer that battle, we need confirmation on a larger time frame. See, on this structure here, the market hasn't broken below this structure here. This higher high, higher low, higher high. We haven't got below this level here. Yeah, we haven't got below this level here. Well, US 30 is doing exactly what I said it's going to do. Have a look. Pushing down into this imbalance, yeah, at the moment. So we're keeping an eye on that. And put another little alert in. All right. These markets are moving predictable. So look, we've just tapped into over here as well, our Jerfa, and we just tapped into that little bit of imbalance in here. Let's see what the market's going to do. Are we going to have a reaction? Are we going to have a reaction out of here? Pushing bullishly after tapping into this imbalance, yeah? Or are we in this premium of this orange level, and really this orange level should have been up here like so, and now the market's going to start breaking structure below. The bottom line is this: we don't know. If you're waiting on a 5-minute time frame, if you're waiting for confirmations on a 5-minute, you're waiting for this structure to be broken, or maybe this structure here to be broken, indicate correct continue, or indicate correct continue. On a smaller time frame, if you're a lot more aggressive, you're going to drop your time frame down. This is a minute time frame. I can see structure in a minute time frame. Have a look at the structure. I'm going to make it the solid line because I've got lots of dotted lines, which is getting confusing. Solid blue line in here. The market's been trading down, pushing down within potentially this kind of range here. All right, taking into consideration how have I drawn that line, touching this data point and this data point, and then taking a parallel line and touching the lowest point here after this highest point, which is here. All right, so right now this market could push down into this level, get down to this blue, get down to near this blue line, and still respect this structure, and then decide it wants to start doing that. That is not impossible. So we're waiting to see what's going on. I wouldn't be in a rush here on a 1-minute time frame, taking indication, correction, and continuation below this structure here because of this imbalance. You might do it, indication, correction, continuation. It might push down a little bit into this imbalance. If I did do that, I'd be protecting myself immediately because then it might decide. So I really want to see what happens either after it closes this imbalance or it starts breaking some other kind of structure above. All right, so what am I going to do here? I'm going to pop an alert below the imbalance. If it says I don't care about the imbalance, Jay, I'm going down. And I'm going to pop an alert up here as it approaches some minor structure on a 1-minute time frame. This is minor structure on a 1 minute. And this was the fight. If I was labeling these, maybe it'd be clear. I don't need to label them because I'm constantly flicking in between. But here would have been that 5-minute structure, not 5 kin, 5 min. All right. Here is minor structure that I can see on the 1 minute. Less solid on a 1 minute. And obviously down here is 5 minute plus coinciding with probably a lot of other time frames structure. Okay. Now, look, what I mean, look, if I've got a 5-minute time frame, I can see this high, not so much this 1 minute energy, but I can see this little high here. I can obviously see this 5-minute structure down here, which also coincides with saying it's 10 minute, saying it's 15-minute structure. And that's about it. Yeah, maybe even hour, sorry. This line is my line, our structure. So that low is a lot more stronger signal if the market breaks this level here. I'll be waiting for a correction and then a continuation is what I'll definitely be waiting for. But at the moment, you can see how this market right now, we're asking ourselves this question, this dilemma. What is this market doing right now? Are we just coming to tap into this imbalance, making some on a very smaller time frame, some lower lows, lower highs? And yeah, you might have been able to execute here based upon this being a candle close, but in my opinion, it'd be risky because this market could be just coming and closing this imbalance. So these alerts, this one's sitting here. I'm sure I put one higher, I can't see it, but let's put this slap one back in here. And this alert above is going to be my eyes and my ears. Let's have a look at US 30, see what's happening. Yep, pushing down into that imbalance at the bottom of this range now. Now for me, this seems quite promising that this market's going to go and do this. Yeah, that this market's going to come and do this. This seems possible. Yeah, that this market's going to come down into this level in here and start pushing up. In here, but I can't just be hasty. I can't just say, yeah, it's closing imbalance and hit the button. I have to get confirmations. Now, at the moment, the only thing I can see here is I can see imbalance. I can see this potential little structure of this retracement, and I can see this market as predicted pushing down from this level and closing up this imbalance. All right, so I love when this happens when we're on the call and we're able to see our ideas play out. Is this now going to happen? And let me tell you the good news and the bad news. The good news is it's listening to what we potentially think might be happening. This imbalance is getting closed. The bad news is that it's doing it so quickly. There's no structure that we can visibly clearly see on the 5 minute. So to get involved early in this, we're going to have to drop smaller than the 5 minute time frame. If we want to get involved more of a sure entry, we're going to wait till this structure is broken, because if I was to put in some indications, this is at least showing a bit of 5 minute structure. All right. Not fantastic, to be fair. It's not breathtaking, but it's visible. Now, let me show you it on the, show you it on the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, we start getting a lot more information because the market, we're seeing a little bit of structure. If I was to draw some lines in here, have a look. It's not even great, but I'd be able to draw a line in like so. Looking something like this, trying to touch some data points. Now, we can't, it's not great, but I'm actually going to drop to an even smaller time frame to make it great, just so you can see it. Because I want you guys to not be scared and understand that the markets are fractal. If I go to 15-second time frame, see on the 15 seconds how we can see that higher, there's lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And therefore, on a very small level, look right now, on a very small level, we've tapped into the bottom of the range, which is that white range that we're watching it. Even though all of this gray area is imbalanced, we tapped into the bottom of this white range here. I'm going to make it a bit thicker, the bottom, that there. Now we've potentially seen a, what do we call this? What do we call this? Somebody stay locked in. What do we call this?
Correction.
No, we don't. Not in this instance right now. It just breaking this level here.
Indication.
Exactly, because it was coming down here. And look, for this whole journey, even though we were very small, yeah? Even though we're very small, it's good to be small because we can analyze the strategy and we can look. It's not good to be small, but at least we can in real time be able to see something. The market was making lower lows. I'm very small, so don't ignore that. Let's ignore that. But the market's making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. It's never once made a higher high. It's just made a higher high, which some people call it a change of character, or whatever it may be, a break in this. So we've seen it break this little level here. So that's an indication. Now we're expecting a correction, which we're getting with some red candles. The next question is, are we going to get a continuation? Now, I'm not trying to say you need to take this as gospel because we are on the second time frame. I was just showing you that when we couldn't see it here on the 1 minute time frame, it is still going on. So I'm trying to say to you that the strategy is still happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like the cycle of life. It's still happening. Whether you're looking at it as the earth, and you're zooming in and you're seeing it as a mountain, and you're zooming in, see it as a tree, and you're seeing it as the insects and the birds and the animals and humans, and zooming in further and to get the same things happening. The cycle of life is happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just happening in a much bigger picture when you look at the cycle of the Earth's, lifespan, all the way going down to an ant's lifespan. But it's the same thing. The ant, is born, it goes and it mates. It maybe finds something to do, do a little work, maybe have a little family after it mated, have a little family, then it dies. Then it commits itself to the earth and it happens over and over and over again. It's the same. Yeah? So when I'm looking at this, though we can't see it here, I zoomed all the way into the 15 seconds just to show you it. Look, indication, possible correction. I say possible because just like in the larger time frame, sometimes it doesn't just continue. Sometimes it decides it wants to go sideways in here for a little while. Sometimes it says that this is a liquidity grab and it's going to actually keep going in this direction. It's even more schizophrenic on these smaller time frames. But I just zoomed in to show you how what's just happened here, this closure above this level here didn't happen for this whole push down here. Is that a coinky dink that it didn't happen? And as soon as it got to our wall, this one here, it happened. That is a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we put that wall in here saying that that's the potential bottom of this range based upon these data points. And the data points I'm talking about is based upon this data point and this data point. And then we pulled it to the lowest point here. It's an exact parallel line. This line and this line are exactly parallel. So as soon as we got here, we saw a reaction. And that's not enough for us to just hit the button. You understand what I'm saying? Because we need to see indication, correction, and continuation. If we're not happy with it on 1 minute, which we can't really see too well, maybe now we can because we can see sort of push here, then we're going to wait for a correction it to happen above this level here. That's patience, it's called. Because in here, we're a bit more schizophrenic. The wind could blow. The news could drop. Something could happen that makes a 20 pip push in the wrong direction, 30 pip spike in another direction, 10 pip spike in the direction. And when we're so small, 10 pips is the difference between us staying in and getting stopped out. Look at that. That whole energy there is 10 pips. So if some news lands and we get a quick 20 pip spike or 15 pip spike, which in US 30 is nothing, it stops us out. Have a look at it on a smaller time frame. Have a look. Indication. Correction. Where did this correct to? Somebody tell me where this corrected to. Somebody tell me what am I fishing for? Where did it correct
50%.
to? That's not necessary. Maybe, but not exactly what I was fishing for. Yeah? But good. At least you understand the 50% energy. Let's have a look. No, it went a bit further than 50%. Went into the 786. Where did it correct to then? This is an easy question, guys. Remember, if I ask you a question, I'm always talking to you about looking historically into.
Golden zone.
It is a golden zone if we're using our Fibonacci's and we pull this impulse from here to here, this is a retracement into our golden zone. Yes, can you see this golden zone, these two orange lines between the 618 and the 786? Yes, but I was going fishing for something a little bit simpler in regards to our candles and in regards to inefficiencies. Yeah, in regards to our candles and inefficiencies.
To close the imbalance.
Exactly. Even though we're in 15 second, which I don't want any of you being in 15-second time frame, I'm telling you. I'm just doing it to show you how the market, how this cycle of life is occurring. In here, if I was to draw this, even if we would rewound this, I'm going to try and do like this, and we're waiting for some sort of corrections, I'm definitely, my eyes looking at this as a potential imbalance. My eyes looking here, saying there's imbalance in here. Saying there's imbalance in here and a little gap, saying there's imbalance in here and a little gap. This is all concerns. So as soon as I start seeing these candles appearing and this imbalance is, still remains above. Look, when we was looking at it, we started seeing this. The market has a right to come all the way down there and close up some of the inefficiencies that existed. Look at that, right into that imbalance. Yeah, it's allowed to come and do that. Like, we're looking at all of these gray areas as potential. Like, we're not going to do anything until we start seeing structure breaking outside of tapping into these gray areas. And the market maintains a structure of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows-ish, lower highs, lower lows, until we tapped into this area to say, well, we've kind of closed the imbalance here. We became 50% of this imbalance. And then it started to look, once again, do something different. Now, I don't know what it's done since we've been talking, because since we've been talking, the seconds have been running and we're in 15 seconds. But I'm just showing you on a smaller time frame how it's the same stuff. And then from there, we saw it pushing up, actually closing above here on the 15-second time frame. This was a clue just about, it's very tight. This is the problem with being in a 15-second time frame. It's very tight. Like, is this a closure above here? On a window it is, but in real life, is it? It's very tight. This is the problem with when you get so small. Yeah, you have to be a lot more discerning than if that was a clear 1 hour closure above this level. Yeah, hence the reason why I'm saying I don't want you here, but I want you to we're able to be quite nimble in Breakfast Club by looking at smaller time frames because the strategy is the same. Yeah, let's have a look to see whether it respected this structure. I don't know right now. So this is good because I don't know because the seconds have been running. So this was our little higher high break on a 15-second time frame. This is a little higher low. This is a little maybe very tight higher high. Yeah, very tight. Has this now respected this low? You might know because you're looking on your charts, but I don't know because I'm here. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. The answer is at the moment, no. At the moment, we're still, Actually, I say no-ish. Yeah, we're back in here. Maybe this market hasn't finished closing this imbalance. Let me get rid of that. All right, we're in the seconds time frame. Like for me, even if this market comes and violates this little tiny low here, once it doesn't violate this structure, then the structure is good on a time frame, on that 30 seconds, or better still, on our minute time frame. The structure is still good over here. Look, we're watching it. I'm just showing you guys. I'm not saying you need to be in the 1 minute time frame trying to work some stuff out. I'm saying to you that the markets do the same things over and over and over and over and over again. Like I said, I am not this little wick above here. I don't know if I'm going to rate it as on a smaller time frame as a closure above it. But the point is that on this push here, you can't see any structure on a minute time frame. So what we could do, just be patient, waiting for a closure above it, waiting for an indication, correction, continuation above here, or below, some other structure that we can see down here. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. But I was just zooming and showing you guys, don't get it twisted. This strategy is universal. Have a look at it right now. Look. So this structure, if we look on a smaller time frame, 30 seconds might even be fine now, because we can see here this little higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So I'm doing it backwards, but higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is the lowest point. We've got a closure here above this point here. Then we've got a retracement respecting that structure. Is this going to close above this level, especially this little wick here? That's the question that I'm asking now. Instead of being in the 15-second time frame, now I'm in the 30-second time. Still tiny. Still tiny. Let me get rid of all of these little patches here, because oops. I'll compute back in performance mode. We've got rid of this imbalance. Close this imbalance. And we've practically closed this imbalance now. A little bit of quas left over here, but maybe the market's had enough. The question is right now is, are we going to get a nice closure above this level to make this a higher high, higher low, and higher high? That's the question. Yeah, that is the question. Is that going to happen? Now, I don't want to sit down with my mouth open, but I'm going to pop an alert here. Add an alert, crossing up. This is going to be my AI. My algo that's sitting in there. This is an algorithm. This is doing something that I don't have to do for myself 24 hours a day without looking at it. It's got an alert to say if anything closes above this level, I'm going to make a noise. Yeah? Not quite an algo, but doing something that you don't have to do or can't do efficiently. 100% efficiently. What about if I said to you, I want you to look at every single break of structure for the next 24 hours, and I want you to mark it with a little red dot? You wouldn't be able to do it efficiently. Every 15-second break of structure, I want you to mark with a little red dot, do it over the next 24 hours. How are you going to do that? If you turn around to scratch your nose, you're going to miss it. If you go to the toilet, you're going to miss it. But an alert sits there, follows instructions, doesn't need to go to the toilet. And when this level over here, if you want me to show you it, right click alert line, when that dotted line breaks, it's going to ring. It's going to make some noise. Sometimes I'm downstairs in the kitchen, I hear ding, 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 ding. I know something's going on. If I didn't do that, I'd be downstairs in the kitchen, I'll come back and this here will be in space. And I'll be like, oh, look at the break of structure, look at the closure. Oh. Use your alerts is the moral of the story. Remember, this market doesn't have to turn around right now. This market can do one of the three things that the markets do. Could decide, do that for a little while. Then before it moves, it could decide to grab some liquidity down here and then go. I don't know. I don't have dominion over the markets. I wish I did. But those alerts allow me to come back when it's action time. Yeah? I don't need to be involved in all of this. Sitting here. The alerts are going to let me come back when it's action time. Let's go look at JER30. The JER30 definitely closed this imbalance over here. Pushed all the way down into it. Went straight through there. And we're just having a look, because that question that we was asking with JER30 is, are we in a premium? Have a look. Let me zoom out. Just reminding you. The question that we was asking is, are we in a premium of that orange range? Or are we in a discount of that white range? Now, the orange range is the bigger Russian doll, right? The orange range, let me say that one more time, is the larger Russian doll. It's larger than the white doll. And this whole energy here, all of this, has been outside of this bigger Russian doll. That I was trying to do the blue line, but it did the white line. That white line was the bigger Russian doll. Bigger than the orange. But because we started trading outside of it, and for where we are in the even bigger Russian doll, this market could decide to go in this direction. Because we're kind of in the middle of this bigger white range. And look how this market pushed all the way up in here, look. This big old impulse from down here to up to this highest point. Let's pull out our Fibonacci. Sister likes the Fibonacci. Let's pull it all the way up here to this highest point. Maybe the market wants to get down to that green 50% range. Even if it wants to go up. Maybe the market wants to first come down to this green 50% level. It would make a lot of sense. Because it'd be coming from the top of this premium, push down to the discount. This green line happens to be very close to the bottom of this orange range. And then maybe from there it decides to push up. If that happens, then we have to adjust this angle. But for now, we don't have enough data to adjust that angle. All right, let's have another look at it. I'm zooming back into my 5-minute time frame and having a look. It's looking as though it's respecting this orange top of the range. This was the highest point. It looks like right now it wants to violate this little low over here. We have had a bit of a 5-minute closure, though it's quite tight. This is a 5-minute closure below this wick low here. So we might get a little bit of a retracement. I can't see some obvious 5-minute retracement places here. Let's have a look at the 3-minute. There was one here that's been closed already. Look, this wick came up here and closed it. It was, if I was to rewind it back, have a look. You know, this wick came up in here and closed. I don't have able to rewind it back. So let's get off that. Let's get off that. Close that. All right, but on a 5-minute time frame where we've actually had the closure here, you know, maybe there's this imbalance up here. Can you see it? Have a look. Maybe the market decides to retrace all the way back up into this level here. It is not impossible. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to act until I can clearly identify some sort of correction and continuation. If I get small and decide that this is 1 minute action here, is the correction and the continuation, I have to take the risks that come along with me being so small. Yeah, so let me have a look here. There was a closure just about here. If I say that this is a correction and it continues here, and I place my stop like this, have a look. I say, yeah, this is a great look. And I place my stops like this, over a 1 minute high like that. I have to understand that if the market says, Jay, starts pushing down a little bit, maybe giving a little bit of profits, and then it says, actually, I'm actually kicking all the way back up here to this 5-minute imbalance. I've got to take that risk of being stopped out and having to get back in again. Okay, opposed to me waiting for it to get up into here, waiting for indication of correction and continuation, or doing things like this. All right, I've got to roll with it. At the moment, we haven't closed down below. Yeah, and as a 1 minute closure, it is a 1 minute closure below here. It is. I mean, it could be, it's quite close. I mean, this is Jer 30 on a wonder, but this closure here is below here. And then we've got a bit of a retracement correction. So I'm going to pop an alert. If an alert comes down here, maybe there is an aggressive entry in here. But like I said, that aggressive entry comes with that risk, higher risk, that high reward comes with high risk of it deciding, you know what, we want to kick back here. Let's look what US 30 is ringing about. Yeah, what was we talking about? Yeah, have a look. This is on the 30-second time frame. Now let's go to our 1 minute, see if it's not a bit cleaner. Now the 1 minute things haven't finished yet. We've got 5 seconds and it's just all wick action. But we respected this little low. We broke some stuff here. Have a look on the 30-second time frame. We broke some levels here. Have a look. There's a little level in here. We broke that level here. Indication. We corrected. We did a bit of the hokey cokey in here. But at the moment, we're over here looking like we're trying on a 30-second time frame. There's a closure. I just probably don't advise you taking the 30-second trades. On a 1 minute time frame, the market's still thinking about what 30 seconds for this green candle to close. But if this green candle did close and you just said, you know what, Jay, I want to take a very aggressive entry today. I'm feeling aggressive. And you decide to hit the button here, I would advise you place your stop below this low. Why? It's only 20 pips, all the way below the swing low. Yeah. But if you're a lunatic, you want to take it below this low, this last 1 minute low, and get really, really aggressive for 8 pips plus your spread. This is rounded to 10 pips. You could do that. So I'm saying 10 pips or 20 pips. If this candle closes, and I would not have you any lower than a 1 minute. Look, let's have a look on the 5 minute time frame. How long have we got for a 5 minute close? We've got 3 minutes and 55 seconds for a 5 minute close. But that 5 minute close isn't that relevant on 5 minute structure, because a 5 minute structure is up here. But it's relevant if it's a 1 minute structure that coincides with 5 minute time frame. It's a bit more relevant. Yeah. But look how we was watching this on a smaller time frame, and we saw it break this smaller structure after never doing it. Didn't do it for this whole run here. Then all of a sudden, boom, broke this 15-second structure. Or you can actually, if your eyes are good, see it as 30-second structure above here. All right. Broke it and closed. Then it corrected and respected the previous low. Then it did a little hokey pokey in here. That's fine. But then it's come and it's closed here. Look. And if we were very aggressive, so the strategy works on any time frame. That could be a 37-second entry based upon that closure. But I said, we don't want to do that. We want to wait for a minute closure. Okay. Which I don't believe we've got yet. We haven't. We still got the market doing a little dance. And there's not a problem with you waiting. It's called patience. All right, because on a 30-second, though, I'm telling you that could have been our entry. Windy, very windy down there. Plus, there's things going on today. Obviously, we just got some read for the GBP news, some more USD news happening later. And though this might be at 130 and 245, we may see some energy, some action, some volatility. Remember, volatility is just that tremor, that handshake. I'm moving my hands in front of the camera, but I realize I haven't had my camera for the whole session. All right. My office is a tip. Let me try and just organize it real quick, and I'll give you a little camera energy because I'm moving my hand in front of the camera and you can't see what I'm doing. I'm all over the place, baby. I'm all over the place. A second. Here you go. There you go. All right, let me turn my camera on. There you go, I'm here. My room's a mess. All right, don't worry about it. No, because I hate to see people on YouTube. It's a mess. Like, sort it out. Anyway, volatility can be considered like that tremor. It's that hand tremor. And you got to ask yourself, can US 30 tremor 20 pips in either direction? Of course it can. It's a market that moves hundreds of pips. Sometimes it could move massive amount of pips in one day. So a little tremor, a little handshake, like when you try and pick something up and your hand's shaking, or man said to you, put out your hand. When you put up your hand like that and there's a little tremor, your hand is still. On a bigger picture, if someone was to look from far, from across the road, I've got my hand still. They can't see, but I can see quite closely. My hand's got a slight tremor to it. That slight tremor is the volatility. And if you put your stop too close, if that tremor is moving 20 pips in either direction, and I put my stop as 16 pips, this tremor, even though my hand is still on a larger time frame from across the road, this tremor is what stops me out. Do you hear me? So though I could get very aggressive in there saying, I want to put my stop just below that low, that tremor stops you out. Hence the reason why I'm kind of like, look, we're going to go below, lower, low, swing lows. So you're giving a little bit of like, you're trying to say that, that's me putting my hand against the wall. Yeah, even if there is a tremor there, that wall should stabilize it a little bit. That lower swing low is the wall. Guys, my metaphors are, I don't know if they're far-fetched or whether they're helping you understand or not. I really don't know. This is the way I teach. It's the way I understand things. Yeah, so it's the way I teach things. Some people don't understand what we mean by volatility, or understand what we mean when we say that place your stop in a certain place whereby you're not going to be that
The market's doing that. It wants to go up, but it's doing that as it goes up, and then has a little. You don't want to be involved in it. Have a look at it on US 30. See how the market's on a smaller time frame. We've done some stuff. We're coming back down here. All I'm looking at right now, is this push down here going to respect structure? This is the structure. The structure. Let's have some structure. Because though I haven't seen that 1 minute close up here, I am trying to see whether or not this market's actually wants to push up. Because remember, even if I was to get in this trade here, the next concern is I'm in the middle of the range and I'm potentially going to hit my head here. I'm in the middle of this white range pushing down, which again becomes a concern because we don't like to trade from the middle of the range. Hence the reason why you see this little idea here. The break of this 5 minute high makes a lot more sense because if it does break that 5 minute high, it would have also been outside now of this trend. It'll be outside of this trend, broke the structure, made a correction, made a continuation. So now we're outside of this energy, and now we're in this demand area at the bottom of this Russian doll. Now don't get it twisted. Your zone may, not for certain, may be bigger than you trying to get in here on a 1 minute time frame, but it's safer. Because right now, me taking trades in the middle of this narrow range is me taking trades from a 1 minute is in the middle of the range where it could decide to go down, it can decide to go up. There's no conflict, no confirmations. Whereas even though it's not necessarily the time frame, but it's where we are in the range. When it breaks this 5 minute high, boom, and then corrects, and then continues on a bigger picture, I'm at the bottom of that little energy here. I'm at the bottom to potentially push up. Push up into this imbalance and towards this bigger structure. Let me make them a different color or thicker so you know what I'm talking about. Potentially towards here. Guys, it's all about just having that awareness of where you are. Somebody called me the other day and was sent me some screenshots and was like, asked me like, you know, if the direction of the market is down, do I ever take a buy? And I said to him, I said, I do. But I do that understanding it is the riskier and then it is the more difficult trade. All right, it's the riskier because I'm going against the trend. You feel me? Yeah. So when we're looking at these markets, we want to make life even though we get. I'm going to delete everything real quick. Even though we get quite anxious and we want to take trades because we sat at our computers. This is the problem. This is what the markets know. They know how human beings move. Our psychology is, yeah, you're going to tell to your missus, yeah, I'm going to go do some trading now. And you think that means that you have to go and hit the button. You know? It's similar to you turning around and saying that you're a, you know, them people that chase storms. Yeah, they're meteorologists or whatever it may be, but they go and chase storms, tornadoes, all them kind of thing there. If you say, yep, today I'm going out to chase storm, how are you going to chase a storm if there's no storm? That might mean you might have to sit in the office and then crunch some numbers because there's no storm today. You can't just jump in your whip and start pretending that there's a tornado. Yeah, you've seen these films. There's loads of these films on Netflix. These guys get in a truck. They're normally from America. They normally got an accent. Yeah, it's definitely not no black people, I'll tell you that much. Black people ain't out here chasing no tornadoes. Yeah, or hurricanes. I ain't seen one black person out here chasing a hurricane. I'm just put it out there. I'm just saying. Yeah, but if they are out here doing it, you can't go and chase a hurricane or a tornado if there isn't one. So sometimes, even though we sit at our charts and we're like, yeah, we're ready to trade, it isn't a trade. It isn't the right time. If you're going to have to wait an hour, that's part of the game. But I know human psychology is, nah, Jay, I'm here in a trade right now. And for you to do that, you've got to get smaller and smaller and smaller to think to yourself that you're going to get some sort of signal, some sort of confirmation, smaller. And it's these small time frames that has all the dead bodies. Because of the volatility. People can't account for the volatility. I'm just telling you. Take it from me. Take it from the pain I've gone through and experience. You want to be small and have a big, massive lot size. So when that trade comes in, you're like, oh my goodness, that trade was a 20K trade. I'm telling you, that's where the dead bodies are. That's where all the people that, you know, was also having those ideas. That's where they reside, in all their bodies, all the tombstones, all of their accounts. That's where they are. Okay. So yeah, so we can see this market anyway. It's a bullish market. Yeah, it's been making some higher highs and higher lows. It's made a higher high over here above this level, but is it to the top of the range? I don't necessarily think so. In the way in which I've tried to draw this range, would look like this. There was this little push outside here, but that's fine. This is part of the volatility. It's part of that handshake. Once it doesn't violate the previous structure, we've got to allow it. So at the moment, we are kind of in a demand area. We're kind of in a discount of this range. I'll make it green. But we're kind of moving very close to, or we're in, or moving towards a premium of potentially this area. This is always the dilemma you're going to have to face. In any scenario, take it out of this market. Are these trainers expensive now? Too expensive for me to buy? Or is this just the new price? And therefore, right now is a good time for me to buy it because it's only going to keep going up and up and up. Always going to be the dilemma. Ideally, you want the stars to align where you're at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. But this isn't that scenario. Yeah? This isn't that scenario. So right here, the only thing we can do, because I'm quite zoomed out, is we need to read and react, therefore, meaning that we manage our expectations a little bit of what this market may offer you. Because it may offer you that bullish push, but maybe not forever. Maybe not for 1,000 pips because of where you are. So say, for example, if I was to draw some more lines in here, I've dropped to my daily, and I'm going to take into consideration, I've already got these orange range in here. Have a look. So between here and here, remember I've restarted marking this up. I delete everything. I'm remarking up. And even though I'm remarking it up, it's the same. So we're at the top of this premium in here. In this premium zone is orange, which is all making me think sell. Yeah? But we're near the bottom of this blue range here-ish. Yeah? After making a higher high, higher low, possibly. Is it going to make a higher high or is it not finished making this low? Who knows? Yeah? If I wanted to, have a look. This would be the line I'm going to draw, like so. But Jay, why are you drawing your line like that? Because I must touch the highest point, the lowest point before the highest point, which is at the moment, even though it's tight, it's about here. The market at the moment is trading within this box, this high and this low on a daily time frame. That's where the market is trading within. This is a fact. If I drop to my 4-hour time frame here, have a look at the market trading within that range on a 4-hour time frame. Broke lots of structure coming down here, tapped into here for some reason, didn't want to violate this level here. There was lots of orders there, unfilled orders for buy here. Yeah? Tapped it, boom, had a reaction all the way back to the top of the range. And look, what a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. We've had a reaction near the top of the range. Where else did we see this reaction? Even here, the market might have indicated, but when it didn't continue. But if we go here and draw our lines, have a look at this. And draw the line. Not making my noise, like so. If I drew the line like this, but Jay, why did you draw the line like that? Because I must touch the last low before the highest point. So only when it got to here did it indicate break structure, correct, and continue. It didn't do that for this whole push. So the question is, does this market want to start rolling down here? Or does it want to roll down for a little bit and then come and maybe push back up in here? I don't know. But if I was reading and reacting on a 4-hour time frame, have a look. Did it
close over here. Didn't even quite close here. This would be the first kind of indication of 4 hour time frame. So this would be correction right now. I'm waiting for continuation. On a smaller time frame, maybe we get a better closure over here. I mean, it's tight, but it might have a look here. Let me zoom in. Might have had a little bit of a closure below that structure. Let's have a look. Pretty tight though, and I don't like it when it's tight. Look, all of this wick, no, it didn't close below the wick. No, I'm not to giving it. All of this energy didn't close below this low here. Here it started to, yes. So now I'm just taking this as the indication. I'm taking what's going on right now as a potential correction, and I'm waiting for a closure below this level here if this market's going to continue pushing down here, which it may or may not do, because it may say that on the bigger picture, Jay, you know, maybe that market gets down to 50% of that range. Either way, that'd still be a good trade. I'm talking, look at that orange range I'm talking about. Maybe the market gets down to 50% of it, which would be approximately about here. Maybe the market pushes down to here and then decides to push back up. I don't know. But what I do know is I can read and react. So I've got my alert in here already. If that thing closes down below there, where we are right now, have a look. Here, there may be a, whoops, I didn't want that. Here, then there may be a possible entry here and stop above the last swing high. Or if you want to be safe, the last swing high or the last high or the last swing high over here. Now, I don't really want to take a US 30 trade with 593 pip zone. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't. Yeah. So more than likely, I'll be a lot more aggressive in it. But maybe this trade goes all the way. If it look, and the reason why, let me show you why. I said the market might go 50% of the range. If I take that trade at 593 pips, that's only 1 to 1.5. Not end of the world, but not delicious. I want to see my trade have the potential to at least have a 1 to 3. You get what I'm saying? Now, of course, yeah, if it goes past that and decides it just wants to get bearish, then yeah, yippee-ki-yay. And, you know, to be fair, if we get past the 50% level, I'm expecting it to get down to the other end of the range. So this could be a massive trade, 1 to 9, or even if we place the stop all the way above here, a nice 1 to 4 trade. Could do. Could do. Or maybe the market right now says, no, I don't want to close down below there. I actually want to push up higher because I haven't quite got to the top of this Russian dollar. I haven't quite tested the wall. Could do. My energy is more that it's going to push down first before it does that anyway. Even if it wants to go up, we get a little push down first. Yeah, we can potentially see some, they're not equal highs, but you know, there is some liquidity above here. Yeah. And we might see that this these red folder stuffs might give a good reason, let's measure out that distance, for this market to decide to it's going to push up to 400 pips. I don't think so. But who knows? Who knows how powerful jobless claims or PMI data is going to be today. All right. But what I would say is you can't take into consideration, you know, n number of things that happen in the world, but you can read and react and manage your risk. Yeah, that's what you can do. You can read and you react, and more importantly is manage your risk. So if shit goes bad, you don't blow up your account. That means that you're not greedy. You're not trying to go and clock your challenge in one trade. All right, let's have a quick glimpse back on Joe 30, see what's happening with it. Still there, sir. In fact, I'm lying. It pushed up some more. Remember, we was looking at it here, and we said this is 15-second closure. We saw a retracement back into some imbalance. Yeah, and look, have a look. We are respecting structure as this market does that. I think we was looking at it on a 1 minute time frame before, and we were saying that maybe
maybe that market pushes back up into these levels. Oh yes, sorry, I'm just recording everything we were saying. If we're at the top of this orange range, we're at the top of this orange range, this here was an indication, breaking this structure, and we're waiting for a correction that might be back into this imbalance for a further continuation down here. Yeah, that's what we were saying. That's what we were saying. Yeah. Or we were saying if he's at the top of this orange range, that's the same thing. That's me saying the same thing. All right. So yeah. Interesting. We might get a little push up here, which would be counter trend after breaking some structure. And then we might get an entry up here for a sell, or we might be able to take the buy all the way up in here if we get a very small entry, which the market does look like it's being respectful of structure here. But on a 1 minute time frame, I don't believe we've got a clean closure as yet. Yeah, because really this energy is smaller than 1 minute. Here we can't really see 1 minute structure in here. Get lots of wicks. Whereas if we start dropping down to 30 seconds, 15 seconds, everything comes into focus and we can see higher heights and higher lows and higher heights and higher lows and higher heights and higher lows. Right now the question is are we going to respect this little structure in here and come and close back above here? I don't know. But like I said, the smaller you get, the higher the risk and the higher the reward. But you know, if you want to be comfortable, you just be patient. You wait. You say, you know what? I don't care about all this stuff. You just broken 5 minute structure here. Boom. I'm going to wait for my correction into some potential areas and then wait for a closure below here for a 5 minute structure. So whether you got in up here in the continuation or you wait and you do that, both of them are correct. Both of them are correct. And if this market just continues to push up here and breaks this structure, you know something else is going. Any questions? Any questions? Let's go. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Anything anybody want to say? Well, look, I'm hoping you guys are understanding the strategy is very, very clear. We've got Brother Al, Mr. the Saint himself, on a call.
Grand Rising all. Sorry,
Grand
sorry. I was working in Leeds last week, and then it just, sorry, work commitments,
man, it happens,
unfortunately.
man. The numbers have been a little bit lower recently. I know it's been but sometimes it's interesting to see the fluctuation of people coming in and coming out. Some days we have lots, some days it's low in the morning. I understand all the pressures of the morning.
Yeah, unfortunately, they want people to come back in the office more time. So that is the issue we have. However, but it is what it is. But I'm still locked in. But yeah, listen, lots going on. As I said, I put in the group yesterday, general elections kicked off. The pound has fallen slightly today on slightly poor PMI numbers, which is manufacturing numbers. So they came below expectation. The Fed, there's been lots of speakers. What everyone needs to understand is a lot of sentiment going on in the market at the moment. Lots of Fed speakers the last few days basically saying it's higher for longer. Excuse me. However, there's a number of financial commentators say that they may put up interest rates. Hence, the market fell yesterday slightly, but did rebound on the back of NVIDIA. Anyone see that last night? NVIDIA is going from strength to strength due to AI. However, the Taiwan situation is going to be worrying for them. A lot of their stuff comes from Taiwan. As you know, Taiwan and China are loggerheads, and Taiwan have just had a general election, and a person that's been put as prime minister is very anti-Chinese. So that's going to cause issues. So look out for that. As you know, the Ukraine war is still going on, and the Gaza situation's changed as well. Where
is it still going on now? I mean, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, the Ukraine war is still going on. Yeah, it's still going on.
I thought it was all like this a little break, like half time, oranges.
No, the Russians have been pushing forward because obviously the Ukrainians didn't have any weapons, so they've been pushing forward. However, the Americans have granted, basically giving them more weapons and more money, so on and so forth. So that's continuing. The situation with the prime minister or president of Iran in the crash that happened Sunday, I believe it was. That spiked prices of gold going up because the Middle East is very unstable. So gold is at all-time highs due to a number of factors, as you know. You've got the crisis in Gaza, and also the ICC has also basically handed out requests of arrest requests for Netanyahu and co, and also the Hamas leaders. So that's another issue. So the Middle East is going to continue being unstable. So we live in an unstable world. But with regards to the markets still going on. Nvidia today, Nvidia is going to push up indices to all-time highs at 230 because it's going from strength to strength. So that's something to look forward to. The Fed, they are going to, as I say, going to keep in interest rates high for the foreseeable future. Until, I mentioned this a few years ago, the employment, if unemployment starts trickling up to 4%, 5%, then they will look at it again. So yes, every data point is important. So you got Red Folio News today. That's going to be really important for the Fed. It's employment news, very, very important. So the markets will move on that. And plus you've got PMI news at 245, US PMI news. Market will move to that as well. So there's lots of things. Every piece of news, either low, medium or high, is important. I don't know anyone saw yesterday at 6 o'clock, the 20-year note that moved the market, as well as the on top of that, as well as the sentiment from the Fed, basically saying that it's going to stay higher for longer. Markets move down lower after 6 o'clock yesterday. If you don't believe me, go back and look at it. 6 o'clock yesterday, markets moved. Any questions, anybody? I know I've said quite a bit, but any questions on anything regards to the markets?
What happened in Cuba recently with the currency?
Yeah, I heard about Cuba, where they I saw that. No,
I heard people woke up in the morning and
no money. Listen,
there's no money.
The problem is, it's happened before. Let's go back to Greece. Yeah, go back to Greece a number of years ago, where they had problems and the EU had to bail them out. They didn't have no money, or they were told they can only take out a certain amount. This is what's going to happen when it's digital, everybody. Everything goes digital. There's no fiat. Yeah, there's more control over your money. So it's possible. Listen, the world order is falling. Yeah. Look at what's going on. The world order is falling. Do your research. Do your research on the ICC. There's a number of things that have come out. The world order is falling, and it might be a good idea, everybody, to have some cash at home. Yeah, because digital wise, the issue with Cuba has happened in Greece a number of years ago. But I don't know anything more on it, but yeah, it's possible. Yeah. The same thing happened in Greece. Same thing. Exactly the
exact same thing. What I think that this is very bullish for Bitcoin. Okay. Yes, I agree with obviously the digital currencies, and when you have in a centralized digital currency that the governments want to bring in for every country, and when I have a British digital currency and an American above, for Bitcoin, this is bullish because ultimately this is the argument for decentralized digital currency. Is the argument of this.
Absolutely.
Long lines form and frustration grows as Cuba runs short of cash.
Yeah.
Now,
go on, Jay. No,
sorry. I mean, it's the same we've seen in the African countries also, and there's been a rush to try and create some sort of. See, what it is that people need digital currencies, but it's because of the powers that be, and because there's a lack of necessary infrastructure. People like my mom doesn't know how to spend Bitcoin at the moment, and the powers that be are not trying to make it
easy for her to be able to transact. Because remember, cryptocurrency is a peer-to-peer transaction, can be peer-to-peer transactions, which is good and bad. I'll tell you why it's good. It's good because I can send Alan £100,000 or worth of value of pounds in USDT or Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency directly to him. See, at the moment, you don't send anything direct to anybody. You send it via your bank, which is a middle person. It's that centralized place that if they don't like you, we've heard the Andrew Tates of this world or whoever it may be, they can just, the phone call could come in. Alan, Alan's talking some crazy stuff. Let's freeze his bank accounts. Now, at that point in time, Alan's screwed without a paddle. He needs to eat. He needs to try to put fuel in his car. He's got no cash. So the benefit is a peer-to-peer transaction, me sending money directly to Alan. Now, let me show you the negatives. The negatives is this. I trust Alan, obviously. I even know where Alan lives. So I don't have really an issue to send Alan that 100K. But let's imagine Alan's trying to do business now, and he's doing business with Tim, who he's met down the pub, and Tim needs 100K. Tim goes, I'll tell you what, I'll send me the 100K, and I'll send you X or Y or whatever it may be. Well, when Alan sends Tim that 100K, it's gone. If Tim decides to turn off his phone and walk off into the sunset, it's gone. There is no middle centralized entity that you can go and moan to. Pick up the phone and phone Barclays and say, listen, I need you to freeze that transaction or reverse it, or I've got some insurance, even though it's only 80,000, I believe, it might even be less than that now, covering in the events of, a crash or some sort of, insurance in your capital. There's that central agency. So it's that we want decentralization. Do we want decentralization? Because you hear this in the crypto space, them talk about it as trust issues. The trust issue. You understand what I'm saying, yeah? And it is a problem. But at the same time like this, I'm sure if people in a situation whereby you can't get actual cash, that you'd at least like to know. Because remember, when that cash disappears, you don't know that it's going to come back. Think about the psychology. Think about just queuing for your cash. Think about if you've got a concern that your money that you've worked for your entire life may be actually gone. Yeah, not that you can't get access to it at the moment, as in enough volume, that it might actually be gone. So having a ledger, which is offline, decentralized ledger, or a wallet address where you've got £1 million in USDT, which is a stable coin, and a cryptocurrencies, at least allows you to think to yourself that even though USDT and these things are not so widely adopted, you still do have £1 million in USDT that, you can find a way to convert it back to cash. You've got that option. Opposed to you had £1 million in your Cuban bank, and for all you know, your £1 million is actually gone. So now you can see from a common sense perspective of why these things can be bullish for certain cryptocurrencies. And then you get into the energy of if certain cryptocurrencies get big or bullish, they drag the other smaller currencies. When Bitcoin gets bullish, everything gets bullish within reason. Not necessarily all the shit coins out there's absolutely nonsense, but within reason. Have a look. We're right at the bottom of this range. We were going sideways in here. Had a reaction bullish, closing above. This is 1 minute structure. Let's have a look at 5 minute. This is 5 minute structure also, but it's difficult to see. Here's a 5 minute high, but I'm just watching it. It's interesting to see if we're going to see a correction continuation, maybe an amazing entry if we believe the narrative that we are actually at the bottom, as I started off this session, of this retracement, and this market may push all the way back up into here to close up this imbalance. This was the narrative from the start of this session. If you wasn't there or you can't remember, run the tape back. The receipts are there.
all right, of whether this market's going to do this. Why have I said that? Because I was actually in the sell here, and then I was in the buy here this morning, and I actually didn't take my profits at the top here as we tapped into this imbalance, because this is actually 1 hour imbalance and we actually tapped in here. I actually only saw this, obviously this was about maybe 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Look here, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I only saw it, unfortunately, when I finished gym. I was on my way back from the gym and I closed out about here, which is still a very good trade, bearing in mind my entry was down here. So, okay. I think that maybe we're going to push up into these levels before deciding what we're going to do, if we're going to come down here or not. All right. So therefore, this energy that's happening right now, I'm going to be waiting for my confluence, for my strategy to play out, which is going to be, this is a closure above this 1 minute high at the bottom of a range of potential demand. Can I see a correction? Maybe just closing this imbalance. There isn't too much other imbalances we can see. Maybe all the way deep into here on a smaller time frame for me to show you it. Maybe in here, but it's not great. I think here is enough. And if this market comes and closes up here, it might be very quick. Or best case scenario, I might say, you know what? Like I said, I'm trying to take into consideration all of that energy. If I see a nice closure up in here, I'm just going to place my stop below here. It's only 15 pips. If I want, I can even make it 20 pips, giving it some breathing room on a basis that hopefully, God willing, that this market is trying to get to the top of this orange range, but then get to equal highs and beyond. Yeah, maybe baby, because I wanted to get at least into this imbalance here for loads of pips, for nice, 100 plus pips. Okay, so I'll be watching that. Or furthermore, I will have my robots. Have a look at my little robot here. I'm going to right click, add an alert, crossing up. That's my little robot. His job is to stand there, do not move, do not blink, don't go to the toilet, don't chat to nobody. Just stay right here. And as and when price comes up here and passes you, ring the bell. It's his only job. It does it well. Okay. But yeah, so that's what I think it was oh. I'm going to pop another one in there because we haven't quite closed above it. That one was a little bit early. But I like it early because if I'm not by my desk, it gives me time to get to my desk. Yeah. Or get to my phone or whatever you're doing. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Oh, I just realized the time. Just realized the time, guys. It's quite late. 1 second. I'm getting a phone calls. 1 second. Guys, I am traveling tomorrow, so it's a little bit active. So yeah, Bitcoin, let's have a look at Bitcoin real quick. Let's drop down a little piece. I think all of that energy, like I said, look what I had in there from previous. This is from previous. This is from, looking at this market here, breaking structure, I'm pushing up here, bullish. Yeah, I do think it's bullish. All that energy we hear, anything we hear that attacks fiat and people not be able to get access to fiat, and that is bullish, in my opinion, for your Bitcoin. All the Bitcoin people say, I told you so, this is why we need Bitcoin. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, every single time. All right. Guys, good morning, God bless. Thank you for your time. I hope that your trading is coming on leaps and bounds. I hope that your learning curve is shortening. I hope that you're getting more, not less, more passion. More passion for trading and the markets and understanding what's going on. And the only thing that's left, you should be saying, the only thing that's left is you pulling out that £1 million or whatever your number is out of the markets. Yeah, that's supposed to be the only thing that's left. All right.
is you pulling out that billion quid, that million quid, that 10 million, that 5 million, whatever it may be. All right. US 30 ringing bullishly. But guys, good morning, God bless. I'm gonna play something which is the shocking link between exercise and dementia. All right, guys, dementia is something that I think we should all take into consideration, because I think there can't be nothing worse than losing your mind, forgetting the people that you love. All right. And I've actually heard and seen quite a lot of studies. I was watching some research on it, how dementia is really linked to